Hello, everyone. I'm Austin Johnson,
And I'm Drew Covington.
and welcome to the breakdown. We've had a long break, but right now we're in the thick of the NBA playoffs, and we wanted to just give a little recap of what has interested us and just the crazy games that have gone on the last 2 days. I mean, the first two games of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals both went into overtime, both had high drama, and it's been a very good NBA playoffs, to be honest, Drew. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I've been really impressed. I think we've had some really great series, some really surprising things take place. I don't think anybody expected Boston to lose in the first round, for example. A lot of
Exactly.
people, including myself, had them coming out of the East. So the fact that they were eliminated in the first round is like a big thing. Um, and I think, yeah, we've had a lot of just interesting stuff happen. I think if we're going like straight into what things have jumped out so far. Um, Joel Embiid saved the Sixers in the first round, like absolutely, and it's super interesting because you have some people still saying that like they gotta just do away with Embiid. They have to, it's just time. And I'm like, wait, they're in the second round because like he came in, like he's the
Yeah.
reason why they came back down 3-1, because he dropped 100 points in like 2 games. Um, so that was crazy. Jalen Brown, you're not better than Jason Tatum. You know, it's
A
okay.
healthy Jason Tatum.
Ethan, healthy
Right.
Jason Tatum. Healthy Jason Tatum. It's okay. Um, but you're not. I want to say shout out to two players who I think are like played really well but lost in the first round. Paulo Banchero, bro, heard all of the slander and said, "I'm actually pretty good at basketball." I
PB
respect
no
that.
J.
Yes, yes. And
Now he
side
was
note,
hooping.
I think I think Scotty Barnes might be the most underrated player in basketball. He
He's
is
very good. His defense is insane.
His defense is insane, and his playmaking is so solid. So solid. In terms of the West, I just dropped an article slandering Jokic low key. So, still a great player, still top 3 in the league. It's just that like you're probably not one or two, which we'll get to who is 1 and 2 very soon. At least in my opinion. At least in my opinion. At least in my opinion. At least in my opinion.
It's still definitely arguable, but there are valid points on both sides. I
Yes.
think, like, for instance, Jokic has three MVPs. You could argue he could have won four or five at this
Yes, you're
point,
right. That's true.
which is like on the level of like LeBron, Jordan. If LeBron or Jordan or even Kobe lost in the first round in their prime after already winning the finals, the slander would be absolutely ridiculous and to the point of no end. We'd probably still be hearing it. Even LeBron at 41,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
slandering him for losing to OKC.
Yeah.
And
No
that
Luka.
without
No
Luka
Luka, by the way.
Doncic.
No Luka.
Like, so I think he definitely has gotten a pass more than he should have. So I think we have to actually like highlight that. Like, you haven't gone back to the conference finals in the last 3 seasons.
Yep.
Now they've played good competition, but again, like if he is who people say he is, he should at least get close back to it. And the same thing, Jamal Murray, he has
Yeah.
never had a playoff series like that series against the Lakers. I called that from when when it happened. Now he's still a very good player, All Star this year, but has never performed like that again, which sickens me because LeBron really could have gotten five that year. But
Yeah, good. I mean, good point. I think my thing about Jokic, and that's kind of the thing that my article talks about, just like a lot of his fans, a lot of Denver fans, a lot of Jokic fans like to put him in essentially greatest center of all time conversations.
yes,
And it's just like I look at the greatest centers of all time, the three guys, in my opinion. I don't talk about Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell because that's segregation basketball, and I don't take segregation
yeah,
basketball seriously. But Hakeem won back-to-back MVPs and back-to-back, championships. It's one of the greatest peaks we've ever seen an NBA player have. Shaq
true.
won 3 championships in a row.
Mm.
Kareem won 5 championships within the span of 8 years. These are levels of dominance that puts you in top 10 conversations. Jokic currently, although he's a great player, and right as of right now, the player of the decade. He's the best player of the 2020s. He doesn't have a level of dominance that is close to that. and any feat, any. And that's kind of like what I talk about in my article. But moving on from that, I feel bad for Anthony Edwards.
Me too.
Um, I'll be the first to say, and I'm planning on writing an article about this. I was wrong about bro. I saw bro play in his early seasons. Like, yeah, I don't know if he'll ever be a top three player in basketball. And I think every year he's coming and proved me wrong. I don't think he's not in my top five. Let's be clear. But I look at him and I like, wow, he's such a dog, and his evolution as a scorer has been so beautiful to watch. It's so unexpected. This guy who's ultra athletic coming into the other, kind of known as a guy that like just dunks on people, and then all of a sudden is a 50, 40, 90 guy. That's insane.
And he's every year he's gotten better. I do think like he's very close to being top five. Like
Yeah, I can hear that.
it's the competition of him being the best in the world. He's played very well. It's just that Jokic, Luka Doncic, Shea is having one of the best peaks ever.
Yeah,
Jokic also is having, for a center, also having one of the best peaks ever. Luka Doncic almost averaged a triple double. Like, it's not that he's not on that level. It's just that that's a lot to compete with. And then a healthy Giannis is Giannis.
and
So
that's not even mentioning, at least in my opinion, a healthy Jason Tatum. I think
that too, and Wemby. I didn't even say Wemby.
yeah, and
So
Wemby.
like, it's not like Ant is an alien in a league full of aliens,
Yeah,
and they're just a tad bit better. Now, I do think that he would get more respect if the team around him was better. Now, I love Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels is going to get very paid this offseason for sure, whether that's by Minnesota or by somebody else. But to have him as your number two scoring option when Jared. Julius Randle
ooh,
cannot put the ball in the ocean. That's a problem. And that's going to really be the issue. Rudy Gobert makes too much money. So the Timberwolves are in a really weird spot. And this offseason, I feel like they'll probably make some trades just
they have to.
because where do you go from here?
Yeah, they have to. It's really and I was online, and I just saw people saying, "Oh yeah, Ant will be back next year with the vengeance," and I said, "That's great, but like, will his team get better?" Like that's
Yeah.
kind of my thing. Like you look at I OKC is great now. They're a great team now. They're one of the if they win the championship this year, which they still can, obviously, they'll be one of the greatest teams ever. They are one of the best defenses ever. But I think what's interesting about this team is that everyone outside of Shea isn't in their prime. J Dub, Chet, Jerry McCain, AJ Mitchell. These guys are not in their prime yet. They're not even at the best they'll ever be.
And they still have
Obviously,
two lottery picks.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, the Spurs, none of these niggas are in their prime.
Yeah.
Like none of them are, and and they are. Dylan Harper as a rookie is averaging, putting up 24 points in the Western Conference, game. You know,
Hmm.
Stephon Castle put up a triple double, in a
He
Western
did.
Conference Finals game. You know what I'm saying? So they're in this position, and I think every team in the West is gonna have to ask themselves this question: how can we compete with OKC in the Spurs for the next 5 to 10 years? That's gonna be hard. Um,
I agree. And I think though, what is like a good sign for at least Anthony Edwards is that his athleticism in that Spurs series was taken away from him essentially. And he still played very good basketball. His shot making was still good. It was just like even I think it was game 5 or game 4, he put the team on his back. Like everybody knew he was hurt and he still found a way to win and score 16 points in the fourth quarter.
yeah.
So that is a good sign for the rest of his career as he gets older and the athleticism goes down a little bit. His shot making will continue to get better as it has year by year, and that's a good sign for them. But sadly, like I saw this thing yesterday where you know how LeBron and Ant when they both came in the league, they immediately made their team better to the
Mhm.
point where they didn't really get another lottery pick. And I think Ant, if that he might go down that same path for if Minnesota can't surround him with the right people, he might be leaving. Not anytime soon per se, but I know eventually he's gonna want to win a ring and Minnesota's going to have to make the right moves to one, get a point guard, and
Yes.
two, find other offensive scoring that that actually flows with their offense. Julius Randle tries to get into the paint to the point where it just clogs everything up because you have Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert cannot score either. And if Julius Randle's not scoring, that means on offense you're playing 3-on-5.
Yeah.
And that's not winning basketball.
Yeah, and I think in terms of Ant leaving, I think if I'm a Timberwolves fan, I'm just hoping that expansion happens as soon as possible. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, if you put the Timberwolves in the East, they're going to the conference finals every year.
That is very true.
You know what I'm saying? So if you put them in the East, and also side note, I think it's moving off of Rudy is such a hard thing to do because
Because he makes
defensively,
too much money.
you're right, he makes too much money, but defensively, he does do his job. He is the
Right.
anchor of a top 10 defense in basketball. And so it's going to be and you can't really replace that automatically unless you get Giannis, which
I I
which
would be happy if that happened.
which
That's
honestly,
not that's not out the picture. I just don't know who would they trade. They'd have to trade probably Jaden,
you probably
Julius, and Nas,
yeah.
or a boatload of picks.
Yeah, you would. It's not likely, but yeah.
I'd be there to
So
see it.
one more thing I want to talk about before we get into, of course, these two games is the Pistons. I feel bad for Cade Cunningham. I think that over the don't get me wrong, he turns over the ball a decent amount, and I won't deny that. But also I think it's just because of what his team asks of him. If if Cade isn't dribbling the ball, no one's dribbling the ball. If Cade isn't scoring, no one's scoring. If Cade isn't rebounding, no one's rebounding. He's asked to
Yeah.
do everything. And Jalen Duren, you're not getting paid this offseason at all. At
He's
all.
gonna get paid. It's just not probably gonna be it. If the Pistons give him the super max,
Oh my
they
lord.
deserve whatever is coming to them because that was bad. Like he might be all NBA and he had a smooth average of like 9 or 10 points. And that's just not gonna cut it, especially in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Now I will say I think Cade and Ant are in similar situations. I do think outside on Minnesota, like Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle, they can score a little bit more than Detroit. But you see what happens when they don't.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's too much on their plate. And Cade, I mean, Cade, in game 5, when Cleveland came back and won, Cade had like 39.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to win that game. And the only person who really is trying to get downhill and actually can do anything off the dribble is Dennis Jenkins. Like that's not gonna cut it. Relying on Tobias Harris to get you 20 points, that is not going to cut it either. And they need somebody else like a real scorer. Now, I've heard people say that they Trey Murphy could be a good person for that. And I do think a number two Trey Murphy that I mean they should already have made, in my opinion, they have the talent with the team that they have right now to make the Eastern Conference Finals. They just need other people to step up. Like Jalen Duren, that was a bad 14 games in the playoffs.
You
And I
know,
will say, as a team, they shouldn't have gone down. They shouldn't have gone to Game 7 in either of these series, in my opinion.
oh yes.
I think they were down 3-1 to the Magic, and they had, and I think it was Game 5. The Magic missed 23 shots in a row. That is some of the most unlikely stuff to happen. They were up by 24 points.
Yeah.
You can't get down that far and hope that happens again. Then second round, they're up 2-0 against the Cavs. The Cavs win three straight. Game 5, they were up by 15, 16 points. You can't do that either. Especially when James Harden is not playing consistent. That like there were too many times where they were close to really knocking the team out and then it just all crumbled.
Especially with the Cavs, bro. The Cavs are not a serious team. They are not.
No.
They're not a serious team. They're not a serious NBA team. And we'll talk about that obviously in a few. But one guy who I think would work with Detroit is Lauri Markkinen. I think he would be solid. Um,
I
I
haven't
think
thought about that.
I
That's
think
not
help.
this. That's a good idea though.
I think health is like an issue with Laurie. He played 42 games this season, but he averaged 26 points per game. I think he can facilitate offense on this team. But let's talk.
I do also think though he played that many games because they were tanking. I don't think I
Oh
don't think they were purposely not playing people. They're trying to get AJ to advance it.
yeah,
So
and I
there's a little.
still think they
You
will.
think he's still going there?
Yes, I think the moment Washington the picks finalized, like a report came out saying that Washington and the Jazz are in talks. Like like I do think that I do think that AJ Devonta will stay in Utah for the rest of his life.
I
Um,
do think there's a way of that happening.
mhm.
But if I'm Washington, I'm taking AJ. I don't care.
I hear that.
I'm putting the phone down. Unless like I don't know who you want. Like Keontae George is not better than Trey Young.
Yeah,
Maybe money wise, like just for a contract, but like I still rather have Trey Young. Now I will say the point that other people have been making is that AJ DeBanton should be in a situation where he should just get the ball, kill, and allow himself to make mistakes. And I do agree with that. But having veteran players on your team and someone like Trey who will get you the ball and can average 12 to 13 assists a game, like at his peak, I think that would be a good matchup because that means Trey is not your number one,
yeah.
or he won't be in the future for sure.
I hear that. I think I don't. I think my thing about Washington is that they seem very like willing to move the guys they just got, which is like we already hear like reports that AD will likely not be on the Washington Wizards by the beginning of next season.
Yeah,
Um,
probably not. Probably not.
yeah, and I imagine that they have the same sentiment with Trey Young, but we'll see. But I think let's talk about the greatest game of all time. Uh, Obviously, Monday, the Western Conference Finals kicked off, and yeah, we saw the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, 112 to 115 in double overtime. Um, I have lots of thoughts and feelings about what I saw. I'm guessing you do as well. Would
You
you
want me
like?
to go first or let you go
Oh,
first?
you can go for. I wanted to do it by team.
Okay.
So you want?
I'll start with OKC, the
Okay.
losing team.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, you're not going to get a game out of Alex Caruso like that again. That's not happening. They'll live with him getting 30. I know people will say 30 is 30 from whether that's from Shea or Alex Caruso. They'll live with that because Alex Caruso hit 8 threes. That's not happening again.
yes,
If it does, props to Alex Caruso. I like Alex Caruso. He won a championship with LeBron, and he was a very good player on the Bulls. So I have no I have no hate against Alex Caruso. Damn good player. But that's not gonna happen again. They'll live with that every day. Now, SGA, they have him in hell. And I was here for it because I think I think OKC is a very good team, very talented. They have literally they go 10 deep. They have 10 people that could get you 15 to 20 points on any night. And that's impressive. You got to give mad respect to Sam Presti.
yeah,
However, I do not like how obviously fouling is a part of the game, but I think they drag it to the point of no return with the fouls. Like they shouldn't be able to mug you on defense and then you cannot touch Shea. I think the refs actually did a good job of calling things against Shea this first game. Like they weren't giving him the ticky tack fouls like they were against the Lakers. The Lakers series, it was absolutely ridiculous. But they really had Shea boxed up. I mean, 24 points on 23 shots, they'll live with that.
yeah,
That's still like on paper, 24 points is not a bad game. But if you're having as many points as shots, they'll live with that. And the same thing with J Dub. J Dub had like 26 points on like 25 shots. They'll take that. Like they both made plays at certain points, but the Spurs game plan was really good, and I we also have to give props, and I'll let you go after this to JJ Redick because JJ Redick's game plan with the Lakers did work. They just didn't have the right personnel to do it, and you see the Spurs do have that personnel, and it's working. They're leaving certain guys open like Dort and
yeah,
Caruso. Dort could not hit a shot. Caruso was hitting shots, but again, they'll live with that. And you saw they had guys on offense in the corner like Julian Champagnie, Devin Vassell. When they needed a shot, they would go to that, they would swing it to the corner and they would hit a contested three. And they actually had the horses to do that because everybody on the team can play defense. Everybody can shoot to a degree. And that's, I got to give props to JJ because they definitely stole that gameplay.
Yeah, I want to just before I go, who did you pick to win this series and how many games?
Um, I picked San Antonio in seven.
Okay. Okay,
I
cool.
think I think it could go either way, but based on what we have seen in this season, I mean they've won San Antonio's won 5 out of 6 games. I think San Antonio is the only team that like can really hang with OKC as far as like personnel and just matchups.
Yeah. Um, so I picked OKC in seven. Um, but I cannot lie. My pick hasn't changed. However, my lord, just so many issues, man. I guess starting with you say that J Dub was inefficient, and I hear that. Definitely, I hear that. But also, I think J Dub relatively played well. I think
Yeah,
like
I do
relatively,
too.
I think he got to the. I thought he was only one of the only guys that actually got to the basket. I thought he was shooting well overall. You're right. Caruso's not doing that again, and that's kind of like one of the things that I think. I don't think there should be a panic button right now, but I think that the Thunder should be genuinely concerned. Um, for multiple reasons. One of those reasons is that Hartenstein and Dort aren't playable in this series. You can't play them, and we saw that the Spurs out rebound them by 20, and that's because Hardenstein isn't on the court. Um,
And they were having either Caruso or J Dub guarding them,
yes.
which Wemby can just
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
this. Then
You know what I'm saying? So,
like that, you have to put Chet on him, sadly.
and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. But yeah, Dort isn't playable. I think one of the things is that you're right. Shout out JJ Redick because that was the game plan. Except they have not only just the bodies to do so, but they're younger and they're longer. That's such a good. I think uh, Vassell Carter Bryant did a great job on Shea. Side note, I
He
think
did.
he did a great job on Shea.
Very
And
good game from Carter Bryant. Unsung hero actually of the first half.
yes, and I looked at Shea's game, and first half I genuinely thought he played terrible. Second half he starting to get going, and also he had like
First half strap.
yeah
First half,
also he had like 11 assists or something like that, but also he had 4 turnovers. But I look at him and I look at his game, and I think eventually Shea will get going. That will eventually happen. However,
yeah.
it's just going to be so hard for him to get there. Like Shea's an inside out guy. He's a guy that gets to the basket and then the rest of his shots start to develop and fall. If you can't get to the basket, how are you going to be effective offensively? And we saw that with OKC and kind of the question OKC's biggest issue in general for the past 2 years is who can create offense, who can initiate offense outside of Shea. If Shea isn't on the court, how does this team look offensively? And I thought guys like AJ Mitchell solved that issue kind of. AJ Mitchell didn't do anything. AJ Mitchell was a no-show. So these things are like large issues. Defensively, they're going to be the Spurs are going to be such a hard team to attack. So how do you figure out to get Shea going? Who's going to step up to help initiate offense? And lastly, Chet Holmgren, you're an all-star. You're an all-star. You are. If Victor Wembanyama didn't exist, you would have won the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Whatever.
You scored 8 points and 6 rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. Six. You have to guard Wemby. This whole like someone said like I talked to my friend Nehemiah and he was like the way they're guarding Wemby, like they're guarding him like they try to guard Jokic. Put these smaller guards and forwards on him, who are
And then
more athletic.
they have a
Yeah,
Roman in the paint.
yeah, who are more athletic, who are, who can be physical with Wemby. But the thing is, like my guy said, he's like, we haven't seen shit like Wemby before. That's not going to work. We saw over the course of the game, Wemby figure out how to deal with Caruso. Because at first he was having problems with Caruso, but eventually figured out how to deal with Caruso. Figured out how to deal with J Dub. When he went straight into J Dub's chest, I said, wait. said, "Wait." Like that was so Chet, you're going to have to guard him. Like you have to. And if in
Has
order
to.
to limit Wemby's offensive production. Um
Because
so
41 and 24 cannot happen again.
yeah, that can't happen again. That can't.
And I think
Yeah,
also
nine
offensive,
offensive rebounds, by the way. Nine.
yeah, that's unacceptable. I think though, offensively, you got to put Isaiah Joe in the game as well. You got to like to create space
Yeah.
because Dort is not hitting shots. Isaiah Joe might not have enough, obviously, defensively, but at least Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain,
Yeah.
you need more shooters outside to create space for Shea. If you have Dort, Hartenstein in the game, like that's just gonna clog the paint and the spots Shea is trying to get to. And they're already gonna send two. So if they're gonna send a double, Shea and I think Shea can make reads. He's not like
Yeah.
LeBron or Jokic. But if they're gonna always be sending bodies and sending doubles and trying to trap him, he needs shooters or just people in general who are gonna make shots.
Yeah.
And Lou Dort is not one of them.
And yeah, and I think guys like Jared McCain help with that. But the thing is, Jared McCain can also just get attacked on defense. Like
He can.
we saw that Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle going at Jared McCain. And again, it's just this is going to be such a tricky series for OKC to win 4 games. It's going to be hard, and same thing for the Spurs, and we'll get to them. But it's just going to be so tricky. Um, I think we can go to the Spurs now. Would you like me to start? Because I have a multitude
Go
of things.
ahead. Floor is
Um,
yours, bro.
I think it's really impressive that the Spurs won this game for these reasons. The Spurs turned over the ball 23 times. They shot, De'Aaron Fox didn't play. They shot
That's
30% from three. They were outscored on bench points and transition points, and they still won. That is practically insane. And
And
I'll
Stephon Castle turned over the ball 11
11
times.
times, which is crazy because I can't even say he had a bad game, but like
No.
that's just insane to turn over the ball that much.
Yeah.
I'll
And
get
I want the Spurs to win too. I was like, bro, he's getting stripped like
yeah
every time down the court. If it
yeah
wasn't a good play, they were taking the ball.
yeah. I will say I'm gonna go to Wemby last, but I will say I think this game proved how valuable De'Aaron Fox is to this team. I am pro trade De'Aaron Fox eventually. I'm very pro trade De'Aaron
Yes,
Fox eventually, but
it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
it's gonna happen. But the thing is, 23 turnovers doesn't happen if De'Aaron Fox is on the court.
I agree.
Um, so I want to get to like shout out Devin Vassell, really really good player. I think he's seen as obviously a 3-and-D guy, but his mid-range game is so solid. He can get to his spot in the mid-range so easily, and like the Spurs can be in like a drought scoring wise. Castle isn't getting to the basket. Harper isn't getting to the basket. Shots aren't falling, but Devin Vassell would go into his mid-range spot, hit a shot, and it's like, okay, cool, calm down, we're okay.
And
Also,
there'll
he
be
played
very contested threes too. I mean, there'll be very contested shots and they'll hit all net. Like I
yes,
respect that type of player.
yes. Also, he did a good job guarding Shea. He had great defensive, like he had that block on Chet, which was embarrassing for Chet, by the way. Also, he had a block
Yeah.
on J Dub, which was amazing. I want to shout out Carter Bryant. I think out of everyone on the roster, did the best job guarding Shea. I think
I agree.
lengthwise and strength wise, Shea didn't know how to deal with Carter Bryant. And I think they need to use him more going into the series. Like I thought Mitch Johnson should have put him in later at the game. But they still won. So, um, Stephon Castle, I don't think had a bad game. He had 11 turnovers, which is crazy, but also he had 11 assists, which I think is really impressive. You watch the passes he was making across the court to Champagne or across the court to Vassell for three. Those things like meant a lot, and obviously, good defender, had 17 points. He is great. He's going to be the future of
Yeah,
this. You know what I'm saying?
for sure. And that will get cleaned up over time, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
And he made timely plays, whether that was scoring, getting to the rim, or just making the right pass. Like you
Yes.
said, that pass of Champagne in the corner and the three to Vassell, like where he spun around and then just whipped it across court and just right in the shooting pocket. that was great. Like
Yes, yes.
that will get better over time, and I'm not really worried about that. Like every guard who plays against OKC is gonna get harassed.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
And
that's an
it's year two. He's gonna. This is all new to him. So, I wanna shout out Keldon Johnson. 13 points off the bench. Shout out to you. 6th man of the year. You know what I'm saying? Cool guy. Dylan Harper. I was mad at Dylan Harper at first because his first three attempts were like first three shot attempts were all threes. That's not who you are. Get to the basket. That's what you do. And eventually he got to the basket. I think what was it 24 points, something like that, 26, 24 points. Um,
yeah, 24, 11 rebounds and like
yeah,
7 assists, 6 steals. Like he had a damn good game.
he is so composed for a rookie. I have the belief that if he was a rookie on any other team, he'd be rookie of the year. I think
I agree.
I think he's that fantastic. And the last person I want to shout out before we get to Victor Wembanyama is Mitch Johnson. I think he's obviously a coach of the year candidate. I think everyone looks at him as a great coach, but I think we like look at his demeanor and be like, oh yeah, like he's calm. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z. And then like during the game, like he's ripping like Dylan Harper to pieces, and then like he and also the decision to put Wemby on Caruso really did pay off. And also, side note, when they showed different looks of like zone, that really fucked up Shea. Specifically on one of the possessions down the stretch. I think he's done a great job on constructing and uh, coordinating this defense. And yeah, I think he's one of the best coaches in basketball.
I agree. And I think, I mean, what year is this for him? Two
Year
or
two, it's year
three?
two, bro.
Yeah. I mean, they won 60 games. So
Yeah.
the resume speaks for itself. They have the talent and he's using them correctly. And you like we talked about earlier with JJ Redick's game plan, he's using film and scouting to
Yes.
his advantage and saying, I have the players to do it. I can put them in the right place. And it's really working out for them. I do think OKC, like throughout the year, do I think OKC could still win 100%? But I'm rooting for his Spurs to win. I want them. It's a hate watch for OKC. I do like Shea. I do like their players, but I don't like that everybody on their team besides Shea has a better whistle than LeBron James. That's a
Yeah,
problem.
I hear that. And the thing is, I'm rooting for the Spurs as well. You know, but I think one of the reasons why I picked OKC to win is that scoring wise, I think they're more consistent than the Spurs. However, I guess I didn't expect defensively how much the Spurs defense or has so far affected their scoring output. Um, Really, my largest concern with the Spurs is the Luke Cornett minutes. Luke Cornett minutes were objectively bad. They were able to get to the basket and things like that, and that's how they started to get going. And that's my largest concern so far. I think they really need to figure out how exactly to manage those Luke Cornett minutes. And I think that will
And
be
Bismack Biyombo.
yeah. Yeah. um, I think that will get better when Fox comes back. Um, but let's talk about the greatest player of all time, Victor Wembanyama. Uh, Nah, man. That is one of the greatest performances in basketball history. That is
I,
objective. When he pulled up from 28, I don't know what to say like after that. Like my dad they were down with 30 seconds left in overtime. And my dad literally says to me like that's not the shot. And then it goes in. And I just looked at him and I yelled at him, that's not the shot. Because like there is literally nothing that he cannot do. It is literally a question of waiting for him to do it, and that's scary, man. He dominated defensively. That's the thing. He only had 3 blocks, but he dominated defensively. They would not attempt anything in the paint as long as Wemby was on the court. 22 rebounds, 40 points, had multiple clutch moments, went at anybody that was in front of him, whether it was Chet, whether it was J Dub, whether it was Caruso, went at anybody, And it's interesting. He went after the game and he said, "Yo, like, I am kind of upset that I didn't win MVP." And side note, I'm kind of shocked that he wasn't second in MVP voting. I thought that he would have got over Jokic. Um,
So
however,
he was gonna get number two.
I understand. I understand. But all that being said, a it is the type of game in which a lot of people will come out the game reasonably so, saying that he's the best player in the world. And obviously, when we look ahead, he's only 22 years old, and that's the scary part. But
Very.
but he is he's the most impactful player in basketball, and he showed that yesterday, or was it Monday, at a crazy level. So
He did, definitely did, and I was happy to see it for sure. Now I will think if he could play like obviously he's not gonna get you never know.
yeah,
But he's not gonna get I would like to think he's not getting 41 and 20 every game this series. But if he's like objectively the best player on the court every game, all 6 or 7 games, because I don't think it's going in five unless the Spurs win or something like that. I can't see that happening. But if he's the best player on the court every game of this series, I will say he's the best player in the world. I think it's definitely up for discussion. And that big shot that he had at the end of the game definitely like on a possession before OKC had the ball and they were up three. They could have ended the game. I thought Shea was gonna get the ball, find his spot to the mid range, and it was gonna be like inevitable. Like we've seen time and time again this year, where when they needed a shot, he was gonna make it. Luckily, they gave the ball to J Dub and he missed. Now, when he took that shot, I was like, "What are you doing?" I know he could shoot. But in that moment, I didn't think a logo three was the optimal shot. He was open, and I know he has that range, but I didn't think he was gonna pull it there. So when he walked into it and just shot it, that was a great moment, and that led them to a win. Because I definitely thought they were gonna lose. I was happy for the Spurs for sure. They have a fan in me as far as right now. I think regardless of who wins, the winner is going to that's an NBA champion. I don't think the Knicks or the Cavs are are gonna win. I think we haven't even talked about the Cavs series yet. I
yeah,
just thought about that.
yeah. I think
We're at
there's less
40
stuff to
minutes.
talk about there, but
What what you say?
I think there's less stuff to talk about there.
That is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think anybody in the East can really mess with OKC or the Spurs. Um, and I think as a team, Dylan Harper, he's gonna be a star one day. Sadly, I love De'Aaron Fox. I've been messing with him since he was in high school. He's definitely getting traded. Whether
it's
that's if they win a championship, I don't see them trading him yet. But there's no way you could have Dylan Harper have a 20-point output coming off the bench and then you're gonna just keep him there next year. Like that's not happening. And we just have to be ready for whatever happens. Win or loss, and within the next year or so, De'Aaron Fox will be traded.
yeah, yeah. I want to say, I think you said it. You said it perfectly. I did think that down the stretch that OKC was going to win this game. I was just like, because like we've watched the season, we watched what happens. Okay, cool. The game gets tight, and then all of a sudden, Shea goes and he gets to his spots or he gets to the basket, and it's like, okay, cool. And the thing is, like, if they were to lose in that fashion, it's like, damn, you know, we did turn over the ball 23 times. I'm like, we did get outscored in bench points and in transition. Like, I would have thought to myself, okay, cool. That's next game. But the fact that they were able to stave off OKC from making that comeback and coming back down the stretch, and that shot, who if Wemby doesn't hit, they don't win the game. Um, they don't win the game.
That game is over.
That shot took so much energy out of OKC, out of the building. That kind of moved all their momentum because it was just a moment of like, holy shit, we're not just playing like anybody, you know. Um, so yeah, man.
That's
Game
one of the
two
best
tonight.
games I've watched yeah. That's one of the best games I've watched in a cool minute, like in a couple years for sure.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, man, incredible game. I'm excited for the rest of the series. I do
I
think
hope
that
all seven are like this.
yes, I hope all seven are like this. I will say if OKC loses tonight,
That's not going seven.
yeah, they're gonna lose the series. Yeah, it will
Oh
be
yeah, it's
virtually
curtains, curtains.
yeah, it will be virtually over. And I think that's kind of a crazy way to go out if you're OKC because like don't forget at the beginning of the season there were you know Golden State 2017 talks. Don't forget. You know what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying?
I haven't.
Don't forget.
I haven't. And that's the thing though. I never thought like on paper, yeah, the record said it, but like, man, I watched that Lakers series. I think like like we watched what happened. That was Shea's worst playoff series. Like that made me so mad because LeBron was 41 and for 3 out of the 4 games, the best player on the floor. And you could really see Shea was not performing the way he was, but because they didn't have the defensive horses, like AJ Mitchell just he got the green light to kill Austin Reeves every time.
Yeah.
Like their team is very good, but I don't think it didn't feel like they were cheating. Like the 2017 Warriors felt like they were cheating.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just felt like OKC just has a lot of talent and they have a lot of people who can score.
yeah.
That's the main difference. Regardless of the 20-0 start or whatever they had, like they weren't that good, but definitely a very good team.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the Spurs actually can compete because nobody has. I mean, this is their first loss of the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think, I look at the teams in the past few years. I do think that OKC is the one that's the team that won the championship. And I think that OKC is the one that is in the position to repeat the most. I do think that they're in the position to repeat more than the 2024 Celtics.
I
Um,
agree.
but if they don't, you know, and that can be a conversation for a different pod, but like what do you do? The Spurs are only going to get better. They're younger than you, you know? And instead of their best player being 28, 27, theirs is like 22. That's scary. That's a scary sight. But
Yeah.
how about the East?
No, but um, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
First, I got greedy. I'll say that because I put in a parlay yesterday. I said I got a little bit of money. I said, all right, let me put a little bit of money on here, see if I can win something. I took the over on Donovan Mitchell points,
Mm,
the over on Jalen Brunson points,
okay.
Knicks money line. All 3 of those hit.
Mm.
Now, the pressing part of that parlay was, do I take the over or the under for James Harden assists? I only needed 7. I didn't think that was that bad. But this is James Harden we're talking about here. So I can see how this looks like a bad decision. And it turned out to be a very bad decision. Once again, he has failed. He's failed me. And I really, I think also before we get into the game, we have to stop the D Wade talks, man.
Oh
D
yeah.
Wade would never ever have a playoff run this bad. Like James Harden, let's see, the Cavs played with the 7 both series, so that's 14 games, so 15 games. Out of 15, he's maybe played well in like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where you could objectively say this is a good game. Like he shot well, he passed well, he didn't have a lot of turnovers, but time and time again he's making lazy passes, not making shots. Like, and then he got absolutely hunted by Jalen Brunson, and at the in the fourth quarter.
That was awful, bro. That was actually tragic to watch.
And for people who don't know, let's say we upload this. For people who don't know, the Cavs are up 93 to 71
Yeah.
with 7 minutes to go. It wasn't like this was the third quarter. This you have half a quarter left and you're up 1-0 in New York. And all of a sudden Jalen Brunson just turns into Superman and says, I want James Harden to guard me every possession. And for 10 straight minutes, he could not stop him. Kenny Atkinson did not call a timeout. Donovan Mitchell, I think he was cramping or got hurt or something like that, but he took like one shot in that time and in the fourth quarter. Now the Knicks did get lucky. They definitely hit some lucky shot. That Mikal Bridges fadeaway in Mobley's face was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That bounce that Landry Shamet got to tie the game, also ridiculous. He was wide open though. And then Sam Merrill's last shot going in and out, that was also crazy. But I mean, there's always a bunch of breaks that you can get in sports, but that's a horrible, horrible meltdown. Like, what do you say in the locker room after that? You were up 22 points, and your star point guard got hunted the entire time and couldn't get a single stop.
Yeah, man. I do want to say, Jalen Brunson is really good at basketball. I think it's like kind of crazy. Like, obviously, we talk about Steph Curry as an anomaly, as we should. To be that good, to be that good at only 6'3" is insane. To be one of a top 10 player in basketball all time at that height is something that we'll never see before. However, Jalen Brunson being 6'2" and being like, okay, cool. I'm gonna drop 38 points today, and I'm gonna average, X amount of points, for the past few years, and be one of the most clutch players in basketball, is really impressive. Um, what he did to James Harden should be considered like a war crime. Like I don't think that's a crazy thing. James Harden like single handedly lost him this game for like two reasons. Like he was just awful on defense. Brunson had his way. Like he scored like what is it 9 or 11 straight points on James Harden. Like
Every point when they in the comeback was on Jay Varden.
literally, like what are we talking about? And then Donovan Mitchell had 30 points or 29 points. Why is he not getting touches at the end of this game? And the thing is, yes, I
He
understand.
genuinely didn't want the ball, I don't think.
And the thing is, I understand he was cramping in X, Y, and Z. But like, if I'm James Harden or if I'm Donovan Mitchell, we're only down or X, Y. We're in a dogfight. I'm the hot hand. I'm the one that's shooting 50% from the field. I'm the one that has 6 steals. I'm the one that has 30 points. I'm still going to want to contribute in the game, especially knowing that Harden is wasting possessions. And Kenny Atkinson, what were we doing? And the thing is, he likely won't get fired because
I
this is the
got
farthest they've gotten, in this iteration of in the Donovan Mitchell Cavs era. But my lord, what are we doing, man? You got to take Harden out the game. Literally, the moment they put in Max Strus before it was too late, Max Strus was contributing more. Dennis Schroeder, as you said, like should have been put in the game. Like we are wasting defensive and offensive possessions because James Harden is on the court. That is terrible. They should have won. And I think the Knicks, because I do think the Knicks won the series in like 5 or 6 games. I think the
me
Knicks,
too.
I think the Knicks can put up a fight against any, put up a fight, maybe not a good one, but put up a fight against the Western Conference teams. I will say it does worry me that so far they haven't played a top five defense in basketball during this entire playoff run. They
Yeah,
haven't.
it's been a very cake run, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, they so like defenses that wouldn't allow you to come back down 20 in the fourth. Um, Defenses that you can't be like you can't. You're not gonna hunt Dylan Harper. You're not gonna hunt Stephon Castle. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Or Devin Vassell.
And even with like, okay, see, you're not hunting Shea. The
Yeah,
only person you might hunt is Jared McCain, and they would take him out the game.
yeah, exactly. Because he's not playing like that crazy man. So that does, that's kind of the reason why as to why I don't think they'll be, winning the championship. But they are the best offense in basketball so far. So,
They
um,
are, but again, like to your point, those stats are inflated because they played the Hawks, they played the Sixers. Like they didn't get to play Boston, even though Boston lost. Like now, Jason Tatum didn't play the last game. Now they shouldn't have blown a 3-1 lead.
of course,
But still being said, like they didn't play anybody where I'm like, those are like really big threats on defense. Same thing with the Cavs. Like the only people that can really guard Jalen Brunson are Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder because he can keep up, but if he gets past the free throw line, he's putting his shoulder in his chest.
Yeah,
So you don't really have somebody for that. Like the matchups have always been bad, and I think in the West, they whether that's the Spurs or OKC, they have the people to guard him. And I do think the Knicks would like win a game or two. Like I think they would go six against either of them, but like
yeah,
they're losing. Like
yeah. I
I'd
agree.
be very, very surprised if the Knicks won.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't. What did the Cavs do at this point? I don't know. Like it's just James Harden leads has the record in playoff history of having more turnovers than made field goal attempts. Like one of my friends, like I texted him, I said like because he's a Harden fan. Obviously, I'm a Rockets fan. That used to be my guy. So I texted him and said like Harden is like selling, and he was just like, oh yeah, like, but everyone has a bad game. Y'all overblowing this. I don't think we are at this point. I
No,
really
this
don't.
is
I
like
think
his 10th bad game of this playoffs. Like,
he is.
I'm about
A,
to actually look up his. Let me look up his game log
please do.
just for reference.
Like I
You
remember
can keep talking.
last week Nick Wright made it. He was like, "Yo, I apologize to Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson for comparing you to James Harden because y'all have never been." And the thing is, I agree. He might be a historical playoff joker. A
Yeah,
historical joker. Like it is
time and time again.
the
Like,
drop off.
okay, in the in the regular season, he was getting 23.6. I'll round it up. 24, eight assists, and 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
The last series against the Pistons, 20 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. On paper, that doesn't sound bad, but if you look at his field goal percentage,
Yeah.
38% and 29 from three. That's very nasty, James. And then quarterfinals, same thing, 21, 6, 5. On paper, that doesn't sound bad, but again, 45% from the field, 38 from three. But there are too many games where he's just not like, let's see, he had 7 turnovers in the first round. He had eight. Like, you have multiple games in one series where 4 games against the Raptors where you had more than 5 or more turnovers.
That shit would
That's
have
terrible. He had a game with 7, 6, and 8 against Detroit. Like that's bad. And he
like
had 6 yesterday. Like he's averaging like 6 turnovers per series. That's horrible. And
I
I'm a James Harden fan too, but
the
this
thing
is he's done this every year in the playoffs now at this point. Like
and
that's the problem.
that's the crazy part. I'm like I used to be a Harden defender. Like when we jacked up 28 missed threes in what I'm saying the Western Conference Finals, I was like cool. But James Harden's still top five. You know what I'm saying? Like James Harden is still the best scorer in the league. He's still X, Y, and
He
Z.
was at that time. He was for
And he
sure.
was. But since he's left my team, I think I've been able to like kind of evaluate him more and just like, yo, like your drop off. The drop off is insane. You go from one of the best playmakers, one of the best offensive guys in general in the league to I don't even know what's comparable.
Um,
One of the Pistons players. Like that's the best way I can say it, like outside of Kate. Like you know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can say it. Like you go from a guy who can like keep an offense afloat. That's what you're doing at the Clippers.
yeah,
Um
he'll do it in the regular season. That's the part that I don't get. I mean, maybe that's because teams obviously they're gonna scout you and play you differently
yeah.
in the playoffs, but I've seen it too many times. I think there was definitely a little bit of a drop off, but like let's say this is the regular season. In Houston, it was like this.
Hmm.
But then and even in Brooklyn, like he got hurt that one year.
Yeah.
So I give him a pass for that. They should have won. Now he did drop off, but again, it wasn't that bad.
Hmm.
But like when he got to Philly, that's when I saw it. He would have like if they made it to the second round, at least he would have 2 good games. Like, let's say the series goes 6 games. A
Yeah.
third of them he'd play well. The rest, it's gonna be mid to bad. And that's what I really noticed. The same thing on the Clippers, like in the postseason, it just goes down. And Nick Wright, that's actually very disrespectful that he said Dak and Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson are James Harden. Now, you could argue Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is comparable. Lamar Jackson has had good playoff games and his team sells.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like it won't be his fault. But Justin Herbert, you could argue he's the last three because he played last year against the Patriots, shitty. Um, the Houston Texas series, the game, that's a series game, shitty. Then
Yeah.
to blow a 24-point lead after Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks, that was very shitty. So Justin Herbert, he has the James Harden allegations. I'll let him live with that one.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe. But I think like in terms of like playoff sports, I have never seen a player in general drop off the way that James Harden does. And he's done it since he's gotten to the league. And that's just so crazy to me. Like there's never been like at least Lamar Jackson, for example, has moments in which you're like, okay, cool. Against the Texans in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, cool, he had a pretty great game. Um
Yeah.
like he has moments in which he's like, okay, cool, I can do this in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Not enough to string together a Super Bowl, obviously, but James Harden in the playoffs have never shown us to be like, okay, cool, I'm actually James Harden. Like I can do this, you know. So that's just insane to me, man. I don't know what the Cavs do. Seems like they're not gonna take out James Harden. So
I hope so. I mean, he has to have a shorter leash for sure.
yeah,
And call a timeout, Kenny Atkinson. Like they were up by 22 and they just let him play. That was wild to me too.
yeah,
Now I get it was the fourth quarter, but you can't be up 20 and then just let them play and then let Jalen Brunson get hot like that.
hmm
And you shouldn't, you definitely should, like, that's the part that, like, I'm not even a Cavs fan, and it's just making me mad. You watch Jalen Brunson, they were down 22. So
yeah,
that means we saw many times at least 10 to 12 shots go through the basket where Jalen Brunson is looking for James Harden. At about four, you should call a timeout and take him out the game. Like,
hmm
and then he wasn't helping on offense either. He wasn't making shots. He wasn't making the right passes. He was turning the ball over. Like, call a timeout and get out the game, bro. Get him out of the game.
yeah, man. I expect the Knicks to wrap this up in 5 or 6 still. I will
Yeah,
say
I already thought that going into it, but after yesterday, it's
I will
over with.
say I think the only thing that gives me worry about for the Knicks is that the Cavs don't lose at home. They don't lose at home. So
They don't. They don't.
they'll have to at least steal one game at home at their crib, which I know is going to be hard to do. Um, but yeah, man.
I hope for Donovan Mitchell's sake they win some more games because I do like Donovan Mitchell.
Please, bro. I'm a Donovan
But
Mitchell fan.
yeah, me too. But I don't think like I think for the sake of the finals, like the competition in the series, I'd rather have New York just so I can see a more competitive series.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't believe I'm not a believer in the Cavs besides Donovan. Max Strus has been playing very well. I
Mhm.
do want to say that. Evan Mobley, he's been cool, but like you were the second or third pick in the draft, like you should be an automatic 20 and 10. You were defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I expect more.
Yeah.
He's kind of like in that weird stretch four like place where he's not a center for real. He's not a forward though. He can play good defense, but he's not really going to be a main focal point of your offense. Like,
Mhm.
what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Um, yeah.
What is your prediction for both series, by the way, just to finish it off?
I still have OKC in 7. Um, I pray that OKC really needs to win tonight. They really have to.
You really do.
Um,
For
so
me, I want the Spurs. I think the Spurs can win in seven. My bad if I cut you off, by the way. And then I do think OKC could win though. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then I got Knicks in six. I think yeah, Knicks in six. I don't see this going to seven though.
Yeah, I have about like Knicks in five. I think they're the better team. I think they're the better offense, and again, the Cavs are not serious. So
It's a damn shame.
yeah,
But this has been the breakdown. We'll be back next week. Once again, I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Drew Covington.
I will see you next week.